Hello and welcome to our modern money journey. Just a brief reminder that I am not a licensed professional. This is not investment advice. This is for entertainment purposes only. Hi everyone and welcome to our modern money journey. We are in the middle of making some upgrades to our channel, so we're going to do something a little bit different today. Today we're just going to take a look at the Bitcoin price, some Bitcoin news, and then show you some Bitcoin tools that you can use. Alright, so looking at coin360.com, we can see that it is a really red day. That's great. I love it. Prices are coming down a lot. I'm sure a bunch of you are confused right now, like, wait a minute, what? Let me ask you a question. When you go to buy a car, if the car salesman says, I'll give you 5% off, or I'll give you 2.5% off, are you upset or are you happy? Because I personally would be pretty happy. I'd like it to be, even a little bit more off. So what I'm trying to say is, these red days are buying opportunities. They are sales. This is your Labor Day weekend holiday sale. Get you some Bitcoin for 2.5% off. There you go. But all right, we're gonna go over some news just to help paint the picture of where things are headed for Bitcoin. If you're in the Bitcoin space and have been for a while, I think you already know where things are going. So this is, just a little bit of an overview for newer people in the space of crypto, of where things look to be going, just, based off of a few news articles that we'll look at. Alright, but let's get on with it. So first, countries where Bitcoin is banned or legal in 2020. Scroll down here to this very user-friendly map. We can see the dark green is legal, the light green is illegal, meaning they have no laws on Bitcoin. Yellow is restricted. Doesn't even mean that you can't have it or can't use it. Just means that if you're in one of those countries, you need to look up the specific laws in that country as to what you can and can't do with Bitcoin. Probably just means that you can't spend it on goods or something, but you need to be sure. Check with your country. Red is illegal, and gray we have unknown data. But if you're in this green, which is a lot of the world, you're good to go. But let's zone in on the United States and see what's been going on there. And we'll also talk about some other stuff that's going to impact the whole world of cryptocurrency. So the United States federal government, Office of the Comptroller of the Currency, federally chartered banks and thrifts may provide custody services for crypto assets. The Office of the Comptroller of the Currency today published a letter clarifying national banks and federal savings associations' authority to provide cryptocurrency custody services for customers. So what's this mean? It means that the federal government has given permission to banks to provide cryptocurrency services to their customers. The government's giving banks permission to store cryptocurrencies for their customers. That's what custody services means, storage services. So, that's pretty cool. Government's given all the banks the green light. And this was in, end of July. Let's go down here and check out this quote. From safe deposit boxes to virtual vaults, we must ensure banks can meet the financial services needs of their customers today, said Acting Comptroller of the Currency, Brian P. Brooks. Brian P. Brooks. That name sounds familiar. Why? Because if we go to this next article, here's Mr. Brooks Mr. Brooks was Coinbase's chief legal officer. For those of you that don't know, Coinbase is one of the largest cryptocurrency exchanges there is. So, Mr. Brooks worked for Coinbase, one of the largest cryptocurrency exchanges there was, and then started working for the federal government in the office of the comptroller of the currency. And now that same office has given permission to banks to offer services to their customers. Wonder where things are going. Are you starting to see the picture that's being painted? I hope so. Alright, let's keep moving on. This is kind of an older article, 2018. Bank of America has the most blockchain patents. And then this part's just funny to me. But is it actually going to use them? This question is just funny. But is it actually going to use them? I read this article and it sort of paints the light that like Bank of America has filed for a bunch of patents and they may or may not get into the space of cryptocurrency. And it talks about how they sort of have it paints the impression that Bank of America has sort of a negative outlook on Bitcoin. However, why would they be putting all these resources towards filing all these patents? They argue that it's to appear productive in the fintech community or progressive in the fintech community. And I know, I'm completely well aware that there are sometimes ulterior motives for acquiring patents, such as, preventing your competition from using the technology. However, I just don't see that being the case in this situation, because if you were a bank and there was something you could make lots of money from doing and you owned all the patents that would allow you to do that thing, and the government just gave you permission to do that thing, wouldn't you do it? I would. I mean, if I was given permission, had all the capabilities and abilities, and I was going to make a ton of money doing it, why would I not? But hey, is it actually going to use them? Well, I don't know. Guess we'll have to wait and see. JP Morgan extends banking services to Bitcoin exchanges. So JP Morgan extends banking services to Bitcoin exchanges. Other banks have been given permission. Bank of America owns all these patents. And people are questioning as to whether they will do anything with them. Interesting. Let's keep going on. Interest in Grayscale crypto products not easing up. Not just Bitcoin now. Grayscale's exponential growth demonstrates institutional demand for Bitcoin and other digital assets. Grayscale Investments, the largest digital asset management firm in the world, repeat, the largest digital asset management firm in the world, has been showing exponential increases in investments to its cryptocurrency products. The total sum of assets under management grew by $1 billion in less than 2 weeks in July. Grew by $1 billion in less than 2 weeks. Rich people and investors had $1 billion in the middle of July, with everything going on, $1 billion to put into Grayscale products. Down here is a chart of Grayscale's assets under management since its inception. Kind of seems to be trending in one direction, don't you think? Wonder where things could be going. Let's keep moving on. New SEC filing shows Fidelity preparing to launch Bitcoin fund. Yet another on-ramp for investors and rich people to be buying Bitcoin. This is from August, end of August. So the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission has published a new filing for a Bitcoin fund, submitted by Fidelity Investments' head of strategy and planning. Once again, another on-ramp. More banks utilizing, or banking institutions utilizing the opportunity being afforded to them. More institutions utilizing the opportunity being afforded to them. There is a tremendous opportunity in the digital asset space right now. Let's keep moving on now. Backed. I need to look more into Backed. It looks like they're starting to develop products for us retail investors, people like you and I, everyday people. But originally they were more for institutional investors. But I just wanted to show you this. This is on their homepage. We scroll down. This is, like I said, this is for all you new people in the space. Anyone that has been in the Bitcoin or crypto space for a while, has heard of Backed, knows about it, knows who owns it, knows about some of the stuff going on with them. However, I want to show this to you guys. Backed is majority owned by Intercontinental Exchange, which operates over a dozen of the world's most prominent exchanges, including the New York Stock Exchange. So the company that literally runs the exchanges that facilitates most of the transactions of the world's markets is getting into Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. Can it be more obvious? Can it be more obvious? Let's see if we can make it more obvious. Billionaire investor Paul Tudor Jones says he's loading up on Bitcoin. He's buying Grayscale Bitcoin Trust. So, let's look at two things here real quick. The hedge fund manager said his fund may hold as much as a low single-digit percentage of its assets in Bitcoin futures. Okay, not exactly Bitcoin, but it's interesting. Hedge fund manager, important guy in the financial world. Multi-billionaire. Paul Tudor Jones is the founder and CEO of Tudor Investment Corp, which managed $38.4 billion as of March 30th. So a few, single-digit percentage would be anywhere from a couple $100 million to a few $1 billion in Bitcoin futures. Yeah. Where do you think it's going? Where does it look like it's going? Morgan Creek's Mark Yusko explains his $400,000 Bitcoin price prediction. Alright. Bitcoin's gradually developing infrastructure could send its value to $400,000 according to Mark Yusko. The Morgan Creek Capital founder told Blocks Live TV that the world's largest cryptocurrency was perhaps a decade away from becoming digital gold. He explained that Bitcoin was gaining adoption in similar ways the yellow metal did over the gone centuries. So, a decade away from becoming digital gold. $400,000 per Bitcoin price prediction. That's where Mark Yusko thinks it's going. Let's move on. Raoul Powell, Bitcoin will become best performing asset in the world. Former Goldman Sachs employee Raoul Powell predicts that Bitcoin will become the best performing asset in the world for the coming 24 months. Well, this was in August, so we still got some months to go. Alright. I just it's wild. It's wild. So let's review. Bitcoin's legal in most countries. Banks are building infrastructure and taking advantage of the opportunity. And rich people are starting to pile in. Unfortunately, I'm not a licensed financial advisor, so I can't tell you what all this means. I'm not qualified to tell you what all this means. Apparently, I'm just a lowly rocket scientist. I hope you guys can see where this is going, though. I hope that you can do some more research on your own, take a look and think about what I've just shown you, and really think about where you perceive Bitcoin's future, or where you think Bitcoin's future will be in the next 5 years, 10 years. Let's take a look at Bitcoin's price chart. So this is Bitcoin's price chart on Yahoo Finance. I know Yahoo Finance isn't really the greatest, but come on. So we also haven't done the introduction to technical analysis video yet, but each one of these bars is a week, so each one is a week. If it's green, the price was moving up. If it's red, the price was moving down. We'll go over all this in a lot more detail in the technical analysis video, but I just wanted to show you guys this to help introduce the tool that I'm about to show you. So let's zoom out. So our price is moving down now. We've been moving up for weeks. Let's zoom out and let's get a little bit bigger picture. So here we're clear back to like 2015. We had the big 2017 bull market run up, and then the bear crash. And we've been oscillating around. And the whole point of looking at charts is to try and see structures developing so that you can use those structures to help inform your opinion as to whether what the price will do. Help inform your opinion on how the price will move. So these structures can help you gain information for how the price might move. Here, we look like we might have some type of wedge forming, but there's not too much decent structure here. But let's take a look at the logarithmic scale. So if we switch it over to logarithmic scale, a more apparent structure seems to emerge. Can you see it? Seems to be trending in one pretty obvious direction. Yes, there's some bumps, some periods of higher volatility. It seems to be trending in one general direction. But this is on the logarithmic scale. So let's linear scale. You can see this is what everyone's used to. Each increment is the same in dollar amounts. Each increment is going up $2,500. This is what people are used to. Now we go to logarithmic scale. And each increment, each unit up the page is the same percentage gain. So we can see that in the logarithmic scale, there seems to be a more emergent structure occurring in Bitcoin's price. But so I wanted to give you guys that intro to the difference between linear scales and logarithmic scales, so that I could show you this. This is lookintobitcoin.com. It has some other products available on it, but this is its charts section. And there's a lot of good models and oscillators on here used for, investigating what's going on with Bitcoin. So I just want to show you two real quick, and we'll cover more of these in the future. So this is the 2-year moving average multiplier. So the blue line is Bitcoin's price. The green line is the average price of Bitcoin over a 2-year period. and then the red line is that multiplied by 5. So just shift it up. So on here, the price is on the logarithmic scale. So that's why I just wanted to show you guys that introduction to logarithmic scaling. Because this is quite common. You'll actually notice when we go back that all of the charts on lookintobitcoin.com are in the logarithmic scale. But what you see here is when you're like close to or below this 2-year moving average, you're at a good buying opportunity, and when you're above or near this red line, you're at you're overvalued. You're at a good selling opportunity if you want to sell. Now let's go back. We'll show you guys this last model. So this is the stock to flow model. And stock to flow models are usually used for, commodities or like gold and silver, stuff that's typically mined or has, an existing amount of stock and then some type of flow into that stock, so new amount being created. And for those of you that don't know, whenever computers on the Bitcoin network are processing Bitcoin transactions, they are awarded newly created Bitcoin. And that newly created Bitcoin, the amount that is awarded gets cut in half every 4 years. So that's called a halving. So if you look at this color-coded chart over here, or this color bar over here, this is showing us how many days we have left until the next halving occurs. So this purple, when the price, this line, is shaded in purple, that is when we're close to a halving. So here we are close to a halving, and the price runs up. Here we were close to a halving occurred, and then the price runs up. And we just had a halving occur back in May. This maroon line is the model. That is the actual stock to flow model and what it predicts. So, what does the model predict? Well, it predicts it's going to come up here into the low $900,000 or $90,000, low $90,000. However, we can see from past cycles that the peaks usually tend to go higher than what the model predicts. And that may or may not be the case for this one, but that may be lining up with some of the several $100,000 predictions that some of the fund managers spoke of that we looked at. So if you're interested, you can come and look at the other charts on lookintobitcoin.com. There's a bunch of them on here. They're all great, useful. A lot of them are oscillators like the Powell multiple and MVRV score that can show you good buying times and selling times. And these can, help you gain that perspective on where do you believe Bitcoin is going. All right, we'll see you next time, you bulls and bears.